Hi, my name is James Shepard, and today I want to talk to you about Mastercard's next move. And really, this kind of goes with Mastercard and Visa. But in a recent video that I did, a post I did, I talked about the American Express case in the Supreme Court that they won, where they're able to continue doing their anti-steering, which means they tell merchants, hey, if you accept American Express, which has a higher cost to the merchant, you can't steer merchants or steer consumers towards a less expensive card. So you can't steer people over to Mastercard or Visa. If you accept American Express, you can't have a sign up that says, we'll give you $1 off if you use your, Visa or Mastercard instead of American Express. So they won that. So what are Mastercard and Visa going to do next? And I read a really interesting article in Forbes about how investors view Mastercard and why Mastercard stock didn't drop at all when they really kind of lost this case with American Express. Because it was a benefit to them that merchants wanted to move people towards the MasterCard. So the interesting thing about it is you really have to look at Visa and MasterCard now as a highly segmented brand. So American Express really just stands for one type of card. They stand for the kind of high-end rewards card. Higher cost to the merchant, which is more profitable, and more rewards to the consumer. Okay? So that's all American Express has. But what's interesting and what this Forbes article talked about is that Visa and MasterCard, really, they already have that. They have rewards cards, But what they also have is the less expensive variety. They're check cards that have been regulated by the Durbin Amendment. They're lower end cards that don't have as much of the consumer rewards, but also have a lower interchange. And so what happened and what's a kind of an unintended consequence of the Supreme Court case is that now Visa and MasterCard really have the perfect excuse to start rolling out better cards that have higher interchange cost and higher rewards just to match American Express, because now they can say, look, we didn't raise interchange rates at all. We're just introducing a new type of card that is competitive with American Express, because look at what the Supreme Court said. They said that that's not anti-competitive practice, that they have these really high costs to merchants. So what you're going to see is you're going to see Visa and MasterCard, you're going to see their average interchange cost probably consistently rise. And what you're going to see is the reason it's going to rise is that they're going to introduce cards on that end that are a little bit more high-end, high rewards, high interchange costs. So what does that mean for you as an ISO or an agent? Two things. Number one, I really do believe it's time for merchants to accept American Express. That's my opinion. I mean, honestly, the difference in cost between the two, if you look at, your average interchange cost for Amex and your average interchange for Visa and MasterCard, Visa and MasterCard is still lower by a considerable amount. But the only reason is because, again, Visa and MasterCard, it's not like one card. You're accepting check cards, which have a really, really low cost, but you're accepting rewards cards, which have a high cost, the same as MasterCard. I keep doing that. Same as American Express. So the key thing is it's really time to just accept American Express, first of all. They're all about the same now. It's just that American Express doesn't have that lower end, set of cards. They just have the higher end cards. So if you explain it like that to a merchant, it's really time for them to accept all three if they're not already. With the Amex Op Blue program, a lot of those costs came down anyway. The second thing is keep in mind that in the U.S. market, it looks like costs to merchants are going to continue to rise. And I'm telling you, I'm talking to hundreds of reps, ISOs, and there are thousands of merchants every month right now that are switching to cash discounting and surcharging. So just be aware that merchants are frustrated. They're going to continue to become more and more frustrated with the amount of money they have to pay in order to accept cards. And that's not going to change. And the Supreme Court just had a great opportunity to put its foot down and say, let's do something that's going to hopefully drive costs down. And they did not do that. They said, no, we're just going to let them do whatever they want to do. That's not anti-competitive. It's just free market. And by doing that, they really open the floodgates a little bit to where I think you're going to see costs continue to rise. And if you do, merchants are going to be ticked. So be aware of that. Even if you're not doing cash discounting or surcharging, you do need to be aware of it and need to understand that merchants are going to continue to grow in their frustration level with these costs. My name is James Shepard. Hope you have an awesome day.